So, after our long discussion the other day about the leprechaun never taking time off, the Chartreuse leprechaun had to take a sick day. Yeah, I know, right? So, he left everything in the hands of the Blue Flamingo. You remember him. He's actually turquoise, but he goes by the name Blue. He hates his real name because people mispronounce it all the time as Chartreuse and think he has something to do with the doctor. Anyway, despite regularly trying to take credit for the leprechaun's work, the Blue Flamingo is actually quite the schemer in his own right, but unlike the Chartreuse leprechaun, the Blue Flamingo goes for the big play, usually. So, when the Chartreuse leprechaun called to say he was sick, the Blue Flamingo's very first thought was to do something with a virus. So he discussed it with his secret advisors. They're so secret even the leprechaun doesn't know who they are. But the advisors gave him a cautious thumbs up, so he did some computer modeling using a video game. Quickly realizing it would take a couple of years to get the desired results that he wanted, the Blue Flamingo gave up, shrugged, and went back to sunning himself on the beach. Well, the Chartreuse leprechaun ended up taking a few extra sick days. He was not well. Fortunately, he tested negative for COVID-19, but that didn't make him feel any better. And having heard about what the Blue Flamingo attempted to do made him feel even worse. Leprechauns always try to teach get-rich-quick schemes are bad, but the Blue Flamingo did this to attempt ultimate in notoriety. So the Chartreuse leprechaun called up the Blue Flamingo and read him the riot act. Trying to wipe out everyone with a virus? What were you thinking? Now, we know he was thinking of the big play with maximum impact because, well, that's what the Blue Flamingo does. And deep down, to be fair, the Chartreuse leprechaun probably knew it too. But between the fatigue, the nausea, the drugs, he was not thinking clearly. He just wanted to make sure it didn't happen again. So he got assurances from the Blue Flamingo and sent him away, but he left the Blue Flamingo in charge of operations. So once again, the Blue Flamingo consulted his ultra-super-secret group of advisors, and they suggested using a different virus to make the desired big play statement. The Blue Flamingo thought about what the Chartreuse leprechaun had said. Then he thought of this big play opportunity. And then forgetting all about the behavioral promises he made, he smiled his scheming smile and said, "I'm in." So, once again, he went to his video game to computer model on use of a modified Black Plague. Now, fortunately for us at this point, one of the Chartreuse leprechaun spies, the Golden Seahorse, who will, by the way, remain nameless, was on the scene, and he engineered a complete computer malfunction, causing complete power failure in the Blue Flamingo's not-so-secret bunker. Then he slipped away unnoticed and reported everything to the Chartreuse leprechaun. The Chartreuse leprechaun, because he was so sick and on so many drugs, never remembered the report. We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin from 4-Leaf Clover News. Today, in the Did You Know category of misinformation, the Chartreuse leprechaun announced nothing. That's right, absolutely nothing. His announcement has sparked debate and outrage and even riots worldwide. Zebra Universal News in Europe reports government agencies are at a standstill trying to form a position on nothing. American news sources say Democrats and Republicans are fiercely blaming each other for a revelation of nothing, and unnamed sources told World Truth Headquarters investigations have already started into nothing. Meanwhile, China is denying any involvement in nothing, and Russia has announced increased oil exports in response to nothing. That's another slap in the face to their OPEC oil partners and is sure to affect the price of oil and gas. That's the latest. In the Did You Know category of misinformation, stay tuned for updates about nothing from 4-Leaf Clover News and the Chartreuse leprechaun, your source for accurate news reporting. When someone says the word Neanderthal, people generally think one of two things: a squatty, slouchy, monkey-looking humanoid, or a modern-looking caveman-type humanoid. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and there's a lot of myths and truths about Neanderthals, but one absolute truth is they were shorter than humans. But don't talk about that around the Chartreuse leprechaun. Mentioning Neanderthals, height, and leprechauns in the same conversations is just not a good idea. He gets incredibly angry. I mean, he won't go full postal on you, but you never know what might happen, especially with virus-wielding friends like the blue flamingo helping out whenever the Chartreuse leprechaun gets sick. Fortunately for us, he was back to normal and all healthy, and he only had vague memories of viruses being used to wipe out humanity. So he headed off to the bar. And after a few too many, someone made the mistake of mentioning short leprechauns and short Neanderthals in the same sentence. And the Chartreuse leprechaun decided he could play the virus game too. So he went looking for an old, even ancient virus, one that Neanderthals would have had to deal with. And he tried modeling using the Blue Flamingo's computer program, which did include a fictitious one. Fortunately for us, he could not find a real one. So the Chartreuse leprechaun wandered off into the forest to think and come up with something new.